So set the scene. Way back in 2020, it was March. And in January 2020, I'm sure you remember what happened to the world. It kind of shut down. So I'm with my young family in Bali running a consulting business. And we thought maybe we should get out of Dodge. So we went back home to New Zealand, and there was a lockdown. And at the time, I was doing everything on the telephone. I was selling, my high-ticket services on the phone and doing calls. And I took that global incident as an opportunity to completely transition away from doing sales calls, doing convincing people to buy my stuff on the phone, to exclusively selling via a doc. And to get to the end of the story, to come back to the beginning, over the course of 11 months, I generated $802,000 with this document I'm going to show you here. And I did that by, firstly, putting the components of an offer down into a Google Doc, and secondly, refining it. So when I first did it and when I first sent it out, I got feedback and I iterated and I changed it and I went back around again until I could sell something really easily with just a single Google Doc. And this is it. And I've got to be really clear, because a lot of people ask this. You can't buy this offer. This offer has sunsetted a long time ago. I have nothing for sale in this video. You can't buy what I'm about to show you. I'm just using this as an example of how you can sell really valuable stuff if you sell coaching, consulting, mentorship, services, if you run an agency, with a simple Google Doc by setting it up right. So Google Docs are great because they're unfancy. So it's all about the words and the delivery. But I start them with what is relevant. What is relevant to the person. So we start with, in August, I'm putting together some people. So it's of the time. When I put this particular version of the doc out, it was September, and then we're taking clients in August. And the first thing we need is a promise. A promise is like what gets done. What is going to happen if someone works with us? What is going to happen if someone actually commits to this and moves forward? So the promise around this one was, I'm going to guide you to create an online offer, get your first customer, and create $10,000 within 90 days. And the promise needs to be clear. The promise needs to be clear in terms of if it's a currency, as I call them, is it time? Is it money? If you're selling weight loss, how many kilos are they going to lose? The promise needs to be really, really specific to help them see it. And it elicits that thing in someone's mind as, well, if I do this, then this will happen. So it's got to be clear. People don't like percentages or vagueness. The promise has to be super clear. Over this time, I'm going to get this result. So whatever you're selling, be very, very specific about what the outcome and the result is. Then you start to give it some context. So, okay, I can see the promise. How do they know it's going to happen? And they've probably consumed some content before. They've probably got some familiarity by the time they get to this document. But how do they know it's going to happen? What will actually happen, and is it for them? So you put some mini case studies in there. Because you've repeated this process with other people before, and you're currently delivering this offer, give a sense of who has gone through it, and who has actually consumed it, and who has actually got a result from it. So I've got some examples here. An agency who generated $90,000 in 45 days. A consultant who added 5,000 days to his existing hourly rates. A freelancer who stopped doing proposals and now gets paid to sell to his clients. So we give people a sense of what actually happens to give them an indication of the result. But that we don't take it too far away from the promise. So it's got to be within the realms of believability. So then we go into, okay, well, I've got a sense of a promise of what happens. And then I've got a sense of who else has gone through it and what they can do. And then what else happens? So we give it some more life. This is perfect if you're already doing these things. If you're already doing workshops, one-to-one or hourly rates, it could be for you if you're already working out in the gym, or you're already doing personal development. And then we describe what it is. An online offer is simply something you deliver to a client that doesn't require you swapping your time for money and can be delivered online from anywhere. So we're giving a sense of specificity, in terms of the promise of how many dollars they're going to make, but actually what they're going to do to produce that offer. And then we start to layer over the extra benefits of coming. We haven't gone away from the core piece of what actually happens and what they get, but we're going to start to layer over the extra benefits. if you work with people, it's unlikely that you just give them one thing. It's unlikely that you just give them the singular thing that gets done. There are lots of benefits to working with you. So I go through here, how to turn your network into super referrers. If you want to sell by the phone, secrets to getting more applications that you can handle. How to turn your existing products and services into cash. The tweet you can immediately make. And I give people frameworks, examples, and templates for more. So I don't distract people away from the core promise, which is $10,000 in 90 days. I layer over more benefits of actually doing it. And by the time we've got to this point in the offer, someone is pretty much in or pretty much out. There isn't too much gray area. So they're starting, if they're in, they're starting to look for the logistics. So the logistics is, how does this thing work? We're kicking off now. How long do I need is a common question. So I recommend allotting at least 2 hours a week. How does it work? I put you inside a private Facebook group and we give people logistics. It's important to understand that people don't consider the logistics of how to work with you until they're sold on the promises and the benefits of working with you. So logistics always come after the promise. The logistics of where it is, how it works, what's going to happen, how much time they need, what are the specific pieces, is always comes after that piece. And so as I created this offer and as I wrote it, people would ask me questions. And, how often do I get calls with you? So we've got lines there, twice a month, you jump in a live call with me personally. So the benefit of selling like this is that offers are dynamic. We can keep adding components that we get, questions from people, or otherwise in sales known as objections. We can keep adding things as we go along and keep adding them to the document. So they're pre-handling the objections as they come up. And this is one of the keys of selling from, with this style without a phone call, because when you're on the telephone, you can handle those objections, answer those questions in real time. And we've got less opportunity to do that with a Google Doc, but we can insert them as we go, because if one person asks the question, often you find that many people ask the question. And then I talk to, how does it work? Many people who consume coaching and consulting or who are in programs, it's not their first rodeo. They've done it before. So they want to understand the methods, what's the consumption, how does it actually roll out? So we give them some flavor for that. And this is future pacing. How does it work? How do people get involved in actually working with you? You can elicit a sense of what does it actually look like when they say yes? What does it actually look like after they pay? What is their actual consumption to it? And then the very common things of how much time do I need? And a common question that comes up is, I work with people who sell things but don't necessarily naturally see themselves as marketers or salespeople. So they have those internal objections of, can I actually get the results? So do I need to be a great marketer? Again, as a pre-handling an objection that someone has. Well, what if I'm not good at writing? What if I can't market? What if I'm not good at selling? And some of those beliefs that people already have that we can pre-manage and pre-handle. And what do they actually need to bring? If you're in coaching and consulting, you need some, what I call raw ingredients from someone. Someone has to have something that you can work with. In my world, a client needs a skill. They need a monetizable skill that they can actually deliver. I'm not that concerned about how they deliver it because I can show them how to do that, but they need a skill in the first place to actually help someone get a result. So, I just say that, we find great results, consultants, coaches, and agencies with offers anywhere between $500 and $100,000. I'll work with you to come up with a $500 to $5,000 offer. And then again, it's the context of, will this work in my industry? By the time we've got to here, we've got a promise, we've got a sense of what happens, we've got an indication of results, and we've got an indication of the benefits of doing it. So bonuses are really important. A lot of people shy away from bonuses because they seem salesy or they seem kind of, over the top, because everybody's been to a sales event that had a ridiculous amount of bonuses that weren't actually bonuses and weren't valuable in the first place. But bonuses help sell offers. Bonuses are additions to when they come that get people across the line because they can see even more benefit from getting the core offer. And we don't go away from the core offer, we add bonuses that add the value to the core offer. So in my world, once someone's got an offer, they generally want an audience, they want traffic to those things. So I bonus, trainings to help them get it, and I actually bonus a specific funnel at the time that would help them get more clients and ultimately get more leads. So those bonuses that you add, it's important that you add them on top of the core offer, and it's complementary to it. And only now do we get to the investment, and this is, I've become known for, doing a weekly payment style. And this was the origin story of this. This was the first time I tested, small increments. And weekly payments are really simple to sell because that you can break them down into small increments, and it's easy for people to get started. And when you work with people and get results, your priority is to get people started, because if you get people results, you want to get them into your world and start delivering results, because that's the thing that's going to get them to stay. So I broke this down in what I call a pay-as-you-profit model that makes it ridiculously easy to get started. You can invest 100 now, then 14 payments of $100 every week. That means that we've got the highest chance of getting someone started, the highest chance of actually getting them into the world and actually getting them moving and creating a sense of momentum. So at this stage, when they're fully bought into the promise, they're fully bought into the capability to do it because other people have got it, and then they're fully bought into the value that you've put around it, then the investment, is the last piece. Do they see value against the promise that you've made already? And then finally with guarantees, you need to be cautious about guarantees, because the wrong guarantee can attract the wrong kind of people because they want the work done for them. And if you rely on your clients doing, some of the execution or some of the work, as we often do in coaching and consulting, then you need to be careful about the guarantee. I make a simple, guarantee in here where I'll get you to the result, and if I don't get you to the result, then I keep working with you. So that doesn't take away the risk, but it definitely reduces it in the sense of I'm going to make sure that someone gets their money's worth in their investment because I'm going to keep working with them. And then at the end, we have that simple piece. A lot of people will, send a pay link and just try and get the payment and get someone across the line first. I ask people to, say I'm in, and then I give them instructions on how to actually invest in it, and I send them the payment link and the instructions next. I found that converts a lot higher. I found by the time someone's in and they've actually, even articulated those words out loud, they're more likely to do it rather than sending them a payment link and they'll get around to it. So I found that converts the best, and after testing this to, 802,000 worth of sales, over the long term, it was worth taking that little extra step and getting people to do it. So offers are possible to put, in this format if you have those components in there. You've got the promise, you've got the plan that rolls out, you've got the bonuses, you've got the guarantee, and obviously the price to match it. If you have all those components in an offer, you'll find that you can get it to sell.